Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island and Scooby-Doo Return to Zombie Island. So I apologize that I am very much behind in a lot of my Blu-ray and 4K new releases coverage. The reason why is that as I used to try to review one new release each week, and unfortunately it's just been too difficult right now. There's been so much stuff, so I will be getting back into it now with this video and some upcoming videos. I still want to talk about Rango on 4K, RoboCop 2, the RoboCop remake 4K, so many other new releases. I want to start with this one just because it was easy to watch these, because these movies are very short. So, and it ties into another release coming up. It seems like Warner Brothers, via the Warner Archive collection, is going to touch those 90s Scooby-Doo movies that came as part of Zombie Island. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically in the 90s, Scooby-Doo hadn't really disappeared, right? It was always still around, just like it is now. But it was like a pup named Scooby-Doo and some other stuff. But Scooby-Doo and some of the other Hanna-Barbera properties have still been really popular via syndication, because, you know, Cartoon Network was born. And so a lot of Hanna-Barbera stuff was being reshown on there to a whole new generation in the 90s. And Scooby-Doo became really popular. So Warner Brothers kind of was like, all right, let's capitalize on that, release these direct-to-video movies. And now, for some of you guys, be like, well, yeah, it's normal for Scooby-Doo to have direct-to-video movies. These were the first ones ever, though. Like, there were TV movies. There was the original Scooby-Doo show back in the 50s or 60s. I forget what decade. Anyways, right after that wave of Scooby-Doo content, there was the new Scooby-Doo movies, which was like basically 45-minute episodes with like guest stars. Scooby-Doo meets Batman, or Don Knotts or whatever, and those were kind of those. So it wasn't different for Scooby-Doo to have movies. It was different for them to be like full, actual, legit movies and not just TV specials. And that's what Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island was. But it also was a reinvention of the formula, where Scooby-Doo was not fighting fake monsters. They're real this time. They're real zombies, and that was a big selling point of this movie. Why this movie is, I believe, still one of the top selling Scooby-Doo movies of all time, and it's the fan favorite. If you ask like some of the hardcore Scoobies, they're gonna tell you this one's their favorite. So I think that it's really cool to see them kind of go back to that 90s era Scooby-Doo, because these were very special ones. And their DVDs are now out of print. I think you could probably still track them down like thrift shops, pretty cheap on eBay. But that's still like work. You can't just go to Amazon, order it, be done. So it is nice. And I will say, this is a nice set for a couple reasons. So let's get into this. So special features are pretty much non-existent here, just like it kind of is with most Warner Archive releases. Now, I got this for $15 at pre-order price, so I can't really complain too much, because we're talking 2 movies on Blu-ray for $15. Here's the disc. You got both movies on one disc. Now some people worry about that, go compression, but for here it doesn't really matter, because it's about 2 hours and a half, maybe a little bit over, in total for the length of these movies. So your average movie can fit on one Blu-ray disc, and these 2 movies together are your average movie length. I think the first one's 77 minutes. The second one is 80 minutes. So there you go. They're not that long. So, and they're pretty quick watches. So, there you go. And I think the one I was most curious about was Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, like the first one, when I watched this. And so I popped that in. And it looked good. It definitely was a noticeable upgrade from the DVD. I just wasn't as impressed with it as I thought it was going to be. It still looked really good, though. Really sharp. Return to Zombie Island, I kind of already knew would look better. Because what's really weird about these Scooby-Doo movies that they make now is they release these new Scooby-Doo movies on home media, but only on DVD, which would be fine, except they make the Scooby-Doo movies in HD, and then the trailers that you can find online or on like Warner Brothers Home Entertainment releases, like they'll be like advertising on a DC animated movie, which of course always get Blu-rays or 4Ks or whatever. But this, you'll see like the trailer and it'll be all in HD, and then you don't get HD. So here, it's the way it's meant to look, you know. So it's always gonna look better. So I think this is a release worth having. It doesn't really have anything else other than not theatrical trailers, but just promotional trailers. And just the movie themselves, and they look better. And so yeah, I know they're doing, I believe, Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, and Scooby-Doo and Alien something, I forget, whatever the other one's called. Those are going to be coming out next month, or not next month, at the end of this month. I have those two pre-ordered, and I plan to do a video on those ones as well. I think that I haven't seen those ones in a while, so I'm curious what I would think. I've seen these ones multiple times. These are, must-own Scooby-Doo movies. And I think, Scooby-Doo and Zombie Island's great. Scooby-Doo Return to Zombie Island, I think a lot of fans are upset that these are kind of packaged together, because people were excited when they were doing a Zombie Island sequel. I think that one came out doing Scooby's 50th anniversary, and people got excited, and they're like, oh, 50th anniversary, and we're getting a sequel to the best Scooby-Doo movie? Hell yeah. So you get that sequel. And it's pretty bad. I think the first time I watched it, I was okay with it. I think watching it this time, I really was not. Because it is in all references to the first one, and very lazily done. Like, they're literally just showing you events of that first one in lesser animation, and it's just a lesser movie overall. It's not very funny, it's not very interesting, and it's not bad. Like, I love all Scooby-Doo movies, so I'm able to enjoy it still, but I'm never gonna watch it again. So I think if you're a Scooby-Doo fan, it's a worthwhile pickup. It's got a lot here just for the quality upgrade enough, right? I mean, I'm not saying it isn't a quality upgrade. Honestly, I think I understood the upgrade of this one. I mean, you gotta remember, that old DVD for Scooby-Doo and Zombie Island, it is the first direct-to-video Scooby-Doo movie. So that DVD is pretty old. I'm sure they've repackaged it a couple times. I'm sure they've cleaned it up a little bit, but this is definitely an improvement, and both these are, improvements from their previous releases. And I think most people will be happy with this release if you're a Scooby fan.